Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. Going to be sort of showcasing a pretty memeable Oberon build for those that still level in Hydron. It's got some nice tile set clear, um, and you can buff to an instant strip with Justice 4, which is pretty nice. Guess I should start including the Archon shards. I've been working on an Oberon build for level cap runs, and when trying to like min-max for each of the stats, I came across this and it seemed pretty fun. A lot of times, the new players in my clan and alliance can't do ESO or frankly just don't want to. It's whatever. Um, so I found some utility in this build when running Hydron. It gets you through the first 10, 15 waves somewhat quick. The first five waves are practically instant kills. And I guess I should probably start including the shards. It's just whatever I'm running. Two cast speed shards, obviously to replace natural talent, ability strength, and primary status. The ability strength is going to help a bit. Reason being is we are a little strapped at the beginning for strength. But with the 10 from the shard, transient fortitude, and you can use regular intensify here. I find that the Archon intensify triggers occasionally from like an ally, so when it does, it's a free 30. But gets us to 135 with the Archon intensify triggered. It gets us to 165, and we will be using Zenuric for an extra 20, so that gets us to 185. When it does trigger, also helps us a bit with energy, which will be a bit of an issue, but you should be wiping the enemies so fast that if you have an arcane energize, you should be able to recover all of your energy fairly quickly. With Archon, if you get an early Archon intensify trigger, and with Zenuric, it'll buff you to 185, which will allow you, after the first wave, to start full stripping armor. Actually, even before that, just with those two, you should be able to full strip. Because corrosive projection knocks down what we need to, the amount of armor reduction that we need down to 82. And then after that, even if you don't use the Zenuric Wellspring, which you should be anyway, you should be spamming it. Just Molt Augmented and Corrosive Projection with the Wellspring is going to be enough to full strip. It will also give you enough control that you should reasonably able to drop down the enemies to give or take 95% shred. So if you're running corrosive build, it won't be a complete loss, though you will be stripping most of the time. So this is a re-upload from yesterday. Nothing else has changed, but I am going to cover the shards, and hopefully you guys can hear in-game sounds. I changed it, so it should definitely be audible this time. Normally I do run with very quiet game sounds, unless it's transmissions, which are turned up. But anyway, I'm going to do 5-10 rounds. Hope you enjoyed the build.
The enemy is at our doorstep.
And at later levels, you are going to have to pad.
Defend the cargo until
Admittedly.
reinforcements arrive.
This isn't a super solid build, but it's definitely an alternative. And you're going to want to stand, give or take, here.
We are readying reinforcements. Keep fighting, Tenno. Reinforcements available. Do you choose to leave now or continue fighting? Continue to defend. You will be rewarded for your bravery. unless you can handle more of the enemy.
Alright,
That's
quick
the
enough.
last
It's not a
objective
complete
secure.
build.
Let's go home.
Obviously no infinite scaling. Especially since it's a duration dumped build. But this is something you don't see Oberon doing every day. Actually being like a tile set nuke. Even though technically he's not a nuke. But interesting enough. Quick 10. So there's the build again. The obvious way to improve it, if you actually do want to go down this road, would be 2 more red shards would be the easy way. Get you over... Actually, you would just need 1 more. So I would need to turn the primary status red into a power strength. That way, Molt Augmented, when it stacks up, gives me the plus 60, knocks me over 200. I could even get rid of Corrosive Projection and free that up for something else. Something like Energy Siphon wouldn't help in this situation because it's so hungry. But it's just I've run Hydron so many times when I was leveling and helping out newer players that say don't have access to ESO. Hydron is still the go-to. If they can't do like the stealth kill affinity on like a Daro, or they can't run ESO, one of the more traditional ways of leveling, or they don't even have the opportunity to railjack, I find there's a very niche utility in this build, in that it just gives you variety from running like your more traditional tile set nuke, like a Volt, or maybe like a Gara. Gara can do what I just did twice as fast. Because it's literally spam 4 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 1, spam pads, and you can knock out 5 rounds in like 2 minutes. And you can even get up to like 20 in like, I think 15 minutes. It slows down a little bit. Because my Riven for Gara isn't fantastic. But for your consideration, if you find some utility in it, been working on an Oberon build, and I just sort of ran into this when I was trying to like min-max each of the stats. It actually does have okay scaling. Like there's a reason I have pull on here, and I'll show that real quick. Just showing where my thinking is. Here's the build, because I know you guys like hearing this. I'm looking for a level cap nuke build, and here was where I was testing. So Hollowed Ground has an AoE that is dependent on how many enemies are nearby. So my thinking was get an ability that groups enemies, and right now we have pull. Let me do a weaker enemy. So this one, so I can stack. So, alright, so if you notice I have pull on. Regardless of power strength now, where before it had a strength of the pull, right? Even with 40% power strength, it'll still vacuum all the enemies up and put them in one spot. Well, this makes the AoE from Reckoning, the ground AoE, super easy to hit. And if you're spamming the combination of the two, like just going pull, reckoning, you can actually pretty easily vacuum in a tile set. Not even joking. The thing that's missing on this build, honestly, is I gotta get equilibrium on here. So it's probably gonna be maybe reach, though I'm not too happy about that. Which will nerf the range, but as long as it stays over 30, that's the goals. Keep it over 30. The radius on Reckoning isn't super important. It's the radius on the AoE when they slam down that we need to have a bit of a radius, and it doesn't even need a lot. And you can see the damage scale from each of the enemies nearby. So once everything gets stacked up, that radiation, I was testing on... Okay. On whether it would be better to do like a 99% strip or like a full strip. Obviously there's some damage there. It's not a lot, but you really have to fine-tune whether you want a full strip, and that was part of the reason why I stayed at 135. If I could get to like 199 strength stable, and that might end up being what I do, is I'll do like a blind rage and take multi augmented off, so I can toggle full strip on and off based on wellspring, right? Because over 200 is a full strip, under 200 is a fraction, right? So right now I'm at 67, it's 135. You need 200% to full strip. And if I could toggle full strip on and off, it would give me the option of getting the bonus damage against alloyed units. Right, so we have these guys, they're weak to corrosive. Vacuum them in. You can see multiple 314s. Most of them die. And we would continuously be vacuuming them in. So it would be toggling back and forth. But the issue is alloy units, right? So even with their way higher armor pool, we're hitting the same damage. And you could obviously prime them, right? Can't even see the damage because of the dots. Okay, good. But obviously I would need more strength, right? So 434. It needs... The thing that's missing is this build needs a ton of duration. Because that single dot is actually like an accumulating dot. And we're only seeing one tick because the duration is so dump statted. If I could get more duration on the build, I could get like a stacking puddle of radiation procs where I could just vacuum enemies in. And as long as I keep that up, it'll give me like a really high DPS. But the issue is going to be I need to find... I really need equilibrium on this because the Reckoning has a chance of dropping health orbs. But the good thing is that I'm going to be casting spores a ton, right? So with trash mobs and everything, or the Panzer's going to be casting spores, so it's going to be easy to spread like the Panzer spores. But it's extremely energy hungry right now. So this is the progress on this, because this build was actually requested, not this specific one, but a level cap Cascade Oberon build. And I'm trying not to do the Phoenix Renewal build. It might be an act of futility, but the Phoenix Renewal is a way to stay alive way to keep your allies alive. You can even pair it with the Panzer augment. Hold on. Not that one. Yeah, Phoenix Renewal. Taking fatal damage under the effects of renewal will instead heal you or allies to 50% health. This effect triggers once for each ally every 90 seconds. Not a big deal, but it pairs nicely with Martyr Symbiosis. It gives you a hell of a like a hell of a safety net. Because this has a trigger, and this triggers way more than Phoenix Renewal. But between the two of them, you basically have like a free get out of jail free card every, like, what is it, every 30 seconds for Martyr? Let me look it up. Alright, the wiki actually doesn't say. And furthermore, you can actually stack this with Tech Assault. For a shit ton of get out of jail free cards. I'll have to do a build specifically for this, but it's what my thinking is, and it feels like cheating almost. Because your pet sacrifices itself. Tech Assault can prevent the Panzer from sacrificing itself. And on top of all of that, Phoenix Renewal applies. Phoenix Renewal applies to the pet, but it also applies to you, so it's like an additional Tech Assault. So you can just like run around getting one shot for like 20 to 30 seconds. And you stay alive. But it feels cheesy. It doesn't feel like an actual build. So I don't know. This is where my thinking is. I actually want something where like Oberon can be doing the damage, or at least providing a ton of utility, like a full strip, so you can go viral, which would make that level cap like super easy, right? You would just have to deal with the overguard, you know, something along those lines, and obviously something different for Corpus because stripping armor isn't that big of a deal. So this is what my thinking is right now. And when I was testing min-maxing each stat, I came up with this. It was just sort of a meme build, but it will, if you are in the category like me where you have leveled so many people, and you just want some variety in how you do it instead of just doing like Volt builds or Serum builds, or even like Gara all the time, for your consideration, this might be an alternative. Anyway, have a blessed day, guys. Take it easy. I hope you appreciated the theory crafting a bit, because this seems pretty trolly. It doesn't seem like it's supposed to work. Right, the Phoenix Renewal interaction with the Tech Assault, with the because Tech Assault can re-trigger. It's a 60% chance, right? It doesn't feel like it's it doesn't feel like this is supposed to trigger. Because the Phoenix Renewal acts like a second chance if Tech Assault fails. It feels weird to me. But it's certainly a build. I just, out of an act of stubbornness, I just don't want to use it. But anyway, have a blessed day, guys. Take it easy. I hope you appreciated the theory crafting a bit, plus the build. Have a good day, guys.